When people can see others who are healing, it gives you hope. And that's what we need more than anything. Hey everybody, so I just got done with seeing some back-to-back patients, and I checked in on our group and I see there's so many questions that need to be answered, so I wanted to jump in and answer as many as I can. For those of you who are wondering where the questions are coming from, there is a section on our Smoothie Shred page that has this picture on it. Let me see if I can show you. See that picture here? There we go. It says, ask your healing questions here. So I try to get on as often as I can to answer questions to help you guys moving forward. Although let me just say right here at the outset that if you have questions on how to do the healing program, the protocol, you're not sure about whether or not you're doing it right, maybe you read Goodbye Lupus, but you're not sure, maybe you just found us, that's why I teach my free classes. So if you haven't registered for my free classes, or if you went to them but you think you've fallen off the wagon a bit, come to the free classes. I teach them every 2 to 3 months. Let me shut off that sound on my computer. And they're coming up again soon. So if you go to goodbyelupus.com, click on the banner on top, or you can go to Goodbye Lupus on Facebook, and there's Learn More. I'll share a post here as well. In fact, I'll put it under this post so you guys can register. So if you want details, because I see some of these questions are really just asking details about how to do it, that's why I teach it. And after every class, I do a Q&A, and I love it because the Q&A is more informed, because it's based on you having watched the content and getting your questions answered. So that's a great space to come to learn the information, make sure you're not missing anything, make sure you got it right, and ask me questions. So make sure if you're asking questions here, you need to come to those free classes, okay? So make sure you do that. Let me go ahead and start just plowing through as many of these questions as I can to help you guys out. So I'm going to start with Rowan, and just so you know, anything, we do make these Q&As public, so if you ask these questions, just be aware that we are going to share them publicly, just because we're trying to share this information as much as we can. And questions, that's a great way to share information with people, right? That other people might have your question as well. So let me jump in here. All right, Rowan says, Dr. G, you and Thomas are my heroes. Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Actually, amazing human beings, and I feel I really relate to you and your story. I have 3 questions for Dr. G. After dealing with SLE and severe nephritis since I was 8 years old, along with the many other wonderful issues lupus brings with it, as you know, finding your book has been a literal lifesaver. Now at 25 years old, I recently lost 90 pounds with diet and exercise and was able to get off many of my medications by choice. And I was feeling the best I have in my life. I'm still in remission, 2 years med-free, according to my doctors. Wonderful! So everybody, let's celebrate that. Even though there's a but coming, that's a huge thing to celebrate. You did that yourself with diet, and that's what I'm talking about. Recently, though, I've been suffering with horrible pleurisy, which is one of my main symptoms, causing me not to be able to do about 75% of my daily activities. Lying down is painful. I've been trying the healing protocol for 2 weeks. I'm grateful to have found your book to see where I was going wrong. Too much, quote, healthy oils. Gotcha. So question 1. If I was to take a small amount of prednisone for a limited amount of time to help me with the inflammation, will it send my immune system into whack by suppressing it from healing? So no, you can take medication and do the healing program at the same time. Most people who do the healing program are on medication. All right. Number 2, I love to juice veggies every day. Celery, carrots, charred turmeric. Would you recommend adding this to the protocol? Am I wasting money and time? Totally not necessary. Juice if you want to, if you enjoy it, but it's not adding to your healing program. 3, I intermittently fast currently. If I'm able to fit smoothies and salad in an 8-hour window, can I keep fasting? What's your opinion? I don't really recommend intermittent fasting for healing, because the whole point of the healing program is hyper-nourishing, meaning oversupplying nutrients. So I'd rather you eat healing foods from when you wake up till you pass out. However, if you're one of those people that prefers intermittent fasting, then you just have to squish all that into that small period of time. But I don't see benefits over healing. Again, love you guys and the work you're doing. You've inspired me to become a holistic nutritionist. How cool. Starting class in the future. Many blessings to you and your family. Thank you, and blessings back to you. Happy New Year. Some great questions from Rowan. Let's take that out. So I delete them as we go to try to know what we've already done. Renee, hello and happy holidays. If I made a recipe that called for a tad bit of oil, what would be the best choice? Olive, coconut, or flax? Definitely flax. What order would be best choices? Flax, then olive, then coconut. Coconut oil is bad for you. It's a saturated fat. It raises your cholesterol. The only good thing for coconut oil is topically on your skin. Don't eat it. Olive oil, people have been able to eat small amounts of olive oil and still do okay. I don't recommend it. It does cause damage to the endothelium. It's not helping you in any way, but it's not inflammatory. Flax oil is anti-inflammatory, so by far that's number one. Okay, let's take that out. Good question. And I'll be talking about oils in depth and why they're bad for you in class number 2. All right, or no, class number 1. Class number 1 starting Sunday. That we're going to talk about oils then. Okay, so the why. So I'm a why person. I love learning about those things. So if you want to learn why I tell you to eat the way you do and why it matters, that's what you want to do is come to those classes. Janet says, I have a small blender, 48 ounces. Is it okay to use that for my smoothies, or do I need a bigger blender? Sure, just make 2 blenders. If you want, because I usually tell people the minimum you should aim for healing. Now, again, Smoothie Shred is about adding what you're missing. So whatever size blender you have, add 1 a day, you'll start getting benefits. If you're trying to reverse a disease, we have to be very aggressive. So I usually start people out at 64 ounces a day. Or you can just add more greens to your food. So if you're doing a 48-ounce smoothie, but you eat like a half a pound of greens in your salad, you probably balance it out that way as well. But you don't need to shop for something bigger. And you guys would let me know if you can't hear me or something, right? Okay, cool. All right. Erlen wants to know, could I use honey for a sugar substitute with SLE? I have not tested the use of honey. I actually don't use honey for other reasons, environmental and B reasons. So I've never tested it in my programs. And since I've never tested it, I can't tell you how it would work. So I only give recommendations based on what I know works. The best thing you can do is avoid sugars. If you want something sweeter, use fruit. But don't use something artificial to sweeten something, okay? Sarah Ramos, one proud lady right here. Dr. G and Thomas, is it safe to continue increasing my omega-3s? At this point, I'm having at least 1 cup of flax chia a day. Is it all possible for the level to get too high? So she sent us a picture of her labs. So let's see here. So cholesterol dropped 11 points. Triglycerides are in half, badass. Okay, let's see. HDL went up by 20 points. LDL dropped by 22 points. Goodness gracious. Fabulous, fabulous job. And omega-3s at 0.87. So congratulations, Sarah. You're kicking ass. These are great labs. Thank you for sharing that and inspiring others with your journey. No, you can't get your flax oil too high. You can't get your omega-3s too high. The more, the better. So keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for sharing your story to inspire others. That's so important. That's why I do that, right? When people can see others who are healing, it gives you hope. And that's what we need more than anything, right? So thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. Kiki, can I overdose on probiotics? I'm taking the Metagenics in the morning and Enzymatica at night. Is that safe? I don't know Enzymatica, but I don't. If you take too much probiotic, you'll probably get the runs. Most people can take it twice a day and be fine. I just don't know that brand, so I can't really give you much feedback on that. Annette, is it okay to have fresh fruit for snacks besides the 25% in the smoothie? So it depends, again, on what you're trying to do, Annette. So if you're trying to just live a healthy life, then you can have fruit as snacks. If you're trying to reverse a disease, that's a wasted meal because you're not going to get the healing from the fruits. We use fruit to flavor the smoothie. So we know that when we hyperdose people in the greens and cruciferous vegetables, they heal really, really dramatically. The original program had 0 fruit at all. But people like fruit. They like their smoothies to taste good. So we tested it, and over the years, I mean, we're talking about, about a decade of doing this with people, we found that if we use 25% or less fruit in the diet, they still get 80% to 90% of the speed of recovery that they had with no fruit at all. And for most folks, that's good enough, okay? But no fruit's better. So if you're going to have a meal, why waste it on fruit? Keep the proportions of your smoothie for all of your meals. So if you're going to have some berries, throw them on top of your salad, for example. So just make sure you're not making fruit your meals and jilting yourself out of the benefits that you would get. That's a big mistake people make, by the way. So good question. Let's see here. Do you get the same benefit from juicing as smoothies from Serena? And no, you do not. No, you do not. Juices are not whole foods. They have a piece of the food in them, right? It's got the water, some of the sugar, some of the vitamins, That's about it. You're not getting the minerals that are in the skin. You're not getting the fiber. It's not a whole food. So no, it does not give the same results. Okay. Kayla, for healing, what can I do if my gut can't handle raw juice or greens? It just seems to burn my stomach, make me nauseous, feel like it sits in my stomach for hours afterwards. I can handle eating lettuce. Can I live off that till my stomach gets better? Also, can I use flax oil in a capsule or tablet instead of chia or flax seeds? Okay, so Kayla, when it comes to this, you need to work on something that works for you. So the healing foods don't change, but for some folks, we have to step into it. So one would be experimenting to see which ones work for you. Can you tolerate broccoli better than you can tolerate spinach or kale? So really trying that out. Some of it will also be spreading it out, maybe just having a small glass of smoothie, but frequently throughout the day instead of too much at once. If you really need help personalizing it, that's when you want to work with me directly, because without knowing you and exactly what your problems are, it's hard for me to really give other input besides that. You don't want to take flax capsules, nothing that's been sitting out. You can buy flax oil if you absolutely can't tolerate the seeds. Just make sure you keep it refrigerated. Hopefully that helps you out. And let me just check, see what everyone's going on here. Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. Let me see. Ruth says, I feel so much better now on plant-based and using smoothies. Lupus can go. Yeah, that's right. I'm using my phone to read your questions, but I got my computer here. I got like all the technology set up, guys. Kim, what do you do if flax seeds make you sick? Try chia seeds. And if you don't like chia seeds, try flax oil or chia oil. Try those things out, okay? All right. Let's see here. Kim also says, also it seems to be making my IBS worse and my weight loss that I was doing is totally stopped 2 months in. All right, so yeah, so again, try those different alternatives and also try smaller doses at a time. Maybe you can take a tablespoon of flax oil every few hours, spread it out that way. Maybe you can have a little bit of smoothie at a time. So you put a half a cup of omega-3s in, but you drink a little bit at a time. There's lots of ways to make that work for you. Okay. Leonie, I think it is. Dr. Brooke Goldner Tadlog, I've had Hashimoto's, drinking your smoothies and feeling great. I'm getting new labs checked in a few weeks to see if I can minimize my thyroid medicine. I'm also eating gluten and dairy free. Yesterday, I ate a pizza with gluten. Huge mistake. I was at a friend's house. There's no other option. My thyroid hurts. I can definitely tell this comes from gluten. Do I have to start all over? Am I back to the beginning? I heard that gluten can attack your thyroid for up to 6 months. Wish I could turn back time. Oh, she wrote that. I just added the singing. So anyway, the most important thing you do, listen, mistakes happen, right? And I just call it research. Call it research, okay? Sometimes you have to test it. I've seen this before. I saw someone who she was on a paleo plan, got lupus on paleo, developed arthritis throughout her body, and then within 2 weeks of eating on this program, on my healing program, her pain was gone. And she was doing great. And then she had a bite of her husband's shawarma sandwich, which is lamb, and was in bed in pain for 24 hours. And she was so upset with herself. And I said, no, it's research. You just proved it to yourself. You know, because your mind starts to wonder, like, am I really feeling better? Is this really working? Is this possible? Am I dreaming, right? So you did research and you found out, when I eat that, I feel sick. Great. Now you know not to do it anymore, okay? So that's the most important thing is, one, don't beat yourself up. Use it as research. Can't look backwards, all right? Look forwards. Number two is plan how you would do it differently in the future, because this situation will come up again. So if there aren't options that I consider food, I don't eat. I make sure, now I love to eat, so I make sure that I know ahead of time where I'm going and if there will be options for me. And if there aren't, then I bring food. And every host loves when someone brings food, right? So I bring food that I know I can eat. So use it for research on, okay, now I confirm to myself that this is a problem, and planning for the future, but not to beat yourself up and not to go into a tizzy of worry and fear, okay? Just use it to plan moving forwards and you're going to do fine. You got some really good information. Always keep moving forward, okay? All right, let's see. And I know you appreciated my singing. That was just bonus for you. Serena, hello, Dr. Goldner. Have you heard of an autoimmune problem in which person loses their ability to speak? Not specifically. I'm not sure which issue you're talking about and why they're losing ability to speak. Is it because of a brain issue? where they're having an issue with actually producing speech. Is it a throat issue where their voice box isn't working correctly? So no, I'm not sure exactly what it means, but or what you mean by that, but definitely you want to go this route of eliminating inflammation to help them get better. But interesting, I'd love to learn more about what's happening there. Jesse, hubby and I have been intermittent fasting. Hi, Jesse. Alongside smoothies, you read that you should break a fast with low carb proteins instead of carbs and fat, because the carbs and fat will be the first to enter the cells and increase the sugar and fat deposits. That makes no sense to me. Please explain as the experts. Yeah, it's all theory. So first of all, as I just mentioned, intermittent fasting doesn't really make sense in terms of the healing world. What it's been useful for is there's some people who have a lot of issues around eating. And when they're trying to lose weight, some people have found it's really worked out for them that if they concentrate all their eating into a few hours a day, and then the rest of the day food's just off limits, that psychologically helps them. And some people feel dramatically better, especially if you're eating unhealthy foods. If you go without eating, you'll feel better than eating unhealthy foods. I don't think that that's necessarily something you need to do, but I had a friend that used to do intermittent fasting who was a raw vegan bodybuilder. Yes, that exists. And he used to do intermittent fasting, but then he would end his fast with a gigantic green smoothie. So that doesn't seem to be a problem. All right. Okay, let me reset. All right. Karen, hi Karen. Is it realistic saying some people take more time? I thought everything would be better after 6 weeks, but for me, it doesn't work that way. It says only me, or is it normal, and stop worrying? So hi Karen. It's different for everybody. So for some people, in 6 weeks, they're symptom-free, as you witnessed. And some people, they're just beginning their journey, right? For some folks, we need to continue working to find an issue, right? So it's interesting now that the more experience I have, especially working in the groups, I've gotten really good at picking out when things aren't what they thought they were. So when I watch people every day. So for example, we had someone in a recent group who his symptoms of autoimmune disease cleared up except for one joint. Everything else, the ankles got better, all the swelling went away, but the hip joint still was really painful. And then that's when I realized, you know what, this sounds more like sepsis. Got an MRI and there was fluid in the joint that didn't look like RA, right? So a lot of times it's diagnostic of something not being inflammatory. We've had that issue happen for a couple other people where someone else just recently, usually like 3 or 4 groups back, he thought that the autoimmune disease was causing the problems in his rib cage. And my husband and I, working the group, realized that, you know, this sounds more like it's muscular. And he actually just texted me, and sure enough, he was told that this is actually an issue with the muscles, right? Which is great news, it's not autoimmune, but we're pretty good at picking those things out. So sometimes you just need more time also of being looked at to see, all right, is there something else that's going on that's perpetuating it? Is there something else in your life that's causing you to continue to have symptoms otherwise? So for some people, it might just be you need more time. For others, it's going to be, let's tweak it and continue to accelerate it. So for you, I remember one of the biggest barriers you had was increasing your food enough, right? So for folks who don't like to eat enough, that's a barrier, right? People who can drink 2 blenders a day, they get better way faster, right? So sometimes it's that because you eat less, you get less nutrients. It's going to take more time. And sometimes we need to go back to the drawing board and go, is there anything else going on? We've found things like mercury poisoning, zinc and nickel deficiency, sepsis, muscular issues. We've been really good at finding those things in people who seem resistant. And so that's so many different things. So that's something else to look at is, are there other things that are going on as well? Or one of the big things I see hold people back is depression, anxiety, stress. So depression, anxiety, and stress are inflammatory. So for some folks, they heal more slowly because the inflammation from the stress and anxiety continues to create inflammation even as they're healing it with their diet. So it could be a combination of those things. So the point is you never give up. You continue to take great care of yourself, take great emotional care of yourself, push yourself to get in as much nourishing foods as you can, and you keep hitting a wall, come back to us so we can try to figure out why that would be. All right, let's see here. Sorry, I keep getting, somebody's really aggressively trying to call me. All right. And I love you, Rose, for continuing to to give people the support that they need. You're the best. All right. Oh, now I just got a text. It actually is an important call. So let me just finish up this last one, and then let me call them back. This is a good one. Kiki wants to know, can you do your healing protocol if you're on blood thinners? Yes, but you have to adjust the dose. If you're on Coumadin or warfarin, the dosage of your greens can affect the medication. So the first thing you do if you're on that one is you ask your doctor if there's any way that they can change to a blood thinner that doesn't have nutrition restriction, all right? If not, if they're like, no, this is the only on for you, tell them you're going to be eating this much greens every day and you want them to adjust your medications to go with your food. Don't give up healthy food in order to make the medication dose easier. Have your doctor adjust your medication to go with your healing nutrition. All right, guys, I hope that got in a good amount of information for you guys. Remember, if you're still struggling, all right, first of all, if you need more information, come to my free classes. I'm going to put a link in here, but you can also get it off my Goodbye Lupus webpage. Go to my free classes. I'm going to teach you everything that's in my book, Goodbye Lupus, okay? You're going to learn everything for free. It's online. It's free. Tell everyone you know. Continue to spread this information. I love hearing from people all over the world saying just the free classes alone saved their lives. It's awesome. I share it for free. Make sure you go to them. I'll also be doing live Q&As where you can ask me your questions live as I'm working rather than me trying to catch up on stuff that's a week old, trying to keep up with you guys. If you are still struggling, like you've come to all the classes like 6 times already and you keep cheating or falling off the wagon or struggling, then I strongly suggest you join my group. It starts January 19th. It's already half full. It will sell out. They always sell out. If you want Thomas and I to help you every single day to make sure that you maximize your ability to do this and to heal and to get the result that you're looking for, it's the best thing in the world. And we love to do it. We love taking care of people. There's a lot of graduates from the group here. And we love you guys. We love continuing to see you guys. So that's something to think about. If you go to goodbyelupus.com and click on group healing, you can learn more about that. But one way or another, make sure if you need information, get the information. If you need the everyday help, get the everyday help. And either way, let's make 2019 the year that you kick disease out of your life and you start living in a much bigger, more vibrant way. Love you guys. Got to return my phone call. See you guys soon.